Welcome to 365 LOA. How to easily and effectively bring into alignment your thoughts, desires, beliefs, and actions, as well as create a positive parallel environment with those around you and the world as a whole. And now, broadcasting high atop the MacGuffin Towers in exciting Las Vegas, Dr. Richard Nongard and RJ Banks.
I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy.
So am I.
You know, so many people don't believe that they're worthy, and that comes from our past experiences. And you have an interesting idea on this, Rob, and that is that you must begin with a firm foundation in worthiness in order to attract abundance in any area of life.
You know, it's like what you're talking about is spot on, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is what we can do to change that mental programming that we have in there. But you have to remember that not only are we being programmed both positive and negative by those around us, but one of the key things that I look at is since our ears can start comprehending, or our brains can comprehend what we're hearing and what we're seeing, look at what the media, look at what that has done to us. We have been programmed. We are so unworthy of everything until we buy somebody's product.
I mean, that's commercials share with us the message that until you buy our product, until you get this diamond, until you drive this car, you're actually not worthy. What is it that makes us worthy?
Just being me. I mean, when you look at a baby, when you look at that child, that's little newborn child, innocent, and, you know, just a cuddly, cute little baby, it's so full of love. And that baby, you look at that baby, and that baby is very worthy of everything of being alive, just from being a baby. There is no what are the word I'm looking for?
I don't know, but we're really a spark of the divine. And I think that's really an important concept. There was, in the 24-hour meditation book that's very popular in the AA program, on June 2nd, a meditation that really has always helped me. It shared with me the idea that we are a spark of the divine, that goodness is within us, that worthiness is within us. And so many people believe that they don't have a choice, that they can't decide to be worthy because they bought into the messages of an abusive parent or a negative teacher or an unethical boss or society as a whole. But even if we've had problems in life, even if we've made mistakes, and Rob, let me confess, I've made some hellacious mistakes in life. I've made mistakes in relationships. I've made mistakes in my vocation. I've made mistakes in friendships. I've made mistakes in my community. And even though I've made those mistakes and will probably continue to make more mistakes, I've learned to accept that I am worthy of good things, that I don't have to feel bad about either business success or personal success or having a good relationship today, even though it followed an unhealthy relationship in the past.
And being, you know, what you're talking about there holds so true. And I like what you mentioned about that choice. It's like, and that is a choice that we have. We have a choice on how we feel about ourselves. And, you know, Henry Ford, remember his saying,
you can have any car you want as long as it's black.
And only $99.95 down and $99.95 a month. No, he said, if you think you can, you can't. If you think you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Something like that.
Right.
I don't know. I'm just, you know, it's just, you know what I'm saying.
But it's so true that if we don't think we can be worthy, then we won't act in a worthy manner. And people who believe that they have self-worth are people who attract abundance. This is why it's really important that we align our desire for good relationships, good health, good financial prosperity with the belief that I am worthy of that these are good things to have happen to me.
Exactly. Now I want to go back to something else that you mentioned a minute ago when you said that, you know, that we were programmed earlier in life by an authority or, you know, a leadership figure like a parent, a teacher, a coach, or somebody like that. And you know, it's like if we get programmed with you know, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you're lazy, you're fat, you're never going to amount to anything. Those are the things that get programmed. Now, our conscious mind is the one that receives that. And, being the doctor, can you please explain how the conscious mind takes that into subconscious and turns that into how our actions...
Our subconscious mind is a vast reservoir of our collected experiences in the moment. So when we hear, whether it's a commercial message or whether it's an unhelpful coach or an unhelpful parent, when we hear these messages frequently in life, what happens is we begin to wonder then, consider the idea, is it true that I'm not good enough? Is it true that I'm not worthy of being picked on the team? That was always my experience in grade school PE class. I was always the last one picked.
So was I.
And it's because I was a dork. And now I embrace my dorkiness. I'm very happy that...
I think that's why you and I have become best friends.
Right. I'm very comfortable saying that, I'm 54 years old and I've never actually watched an NFL football game in my entire life. Now, I honor those people who find it fascinating and learn the mechanics of it and whatever else. But I remember, in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, always being the last one picked on the team because I certainly was not the best athletic performer on the team. Although now in my old age, by the way, I swim pretty regularly and I'm a really good swimmer. But so I found, I guess, the sport that I excel at. I'm also really good at walking every morning. But we take those messages that happened a long time ago and we forget them. They're not stored in our conscious mind anymore, but they are stored in our collective experiences. And this is our subconscious mind. And a lifelong pattern of receiving negative messages, whether they come from others or whether they come from ourselves, sometimes we're our own worst enemy, programs us to believe that I'm not worthy of this relationship.
Now, are there, let me ask you right there, those self-image feelings that we have of being, it's like, oh, I'm just so stupid and I'm such an idiot, I'll never get this down. Is that something that we develop within ourselves, or is that something that is from our collective consciousness from being programmed from the outside?
I think it's a little bit of both. And one of the examples here is religion. So I always encourage people to participate in a religious fellowship if it's something that's valuable to them, as long as the group is non-shaming and non-judgmental and accepting. Those are the healthy religious groups. But so many religious groups bury people with messages that if you take this action or you engage in this behavior or if you choose to do something different than what we believe, if you don't agree with the same number of angels dancing on the head of a pin, then you are unacceptable, not only to me, not only to society, but you're unacceptable to God. And for a lot of people, this becomes a form of religious abuse that they've had to reconcile. But a lot of people never reconcile, so they continue to believe that they're flawed and defective. And some people embrace that. When I was doing therapy in the inpatient treatment program, I had one kid. He was a 16-year-old kid, and he was really a pretty good kid. He was so anxious that he couldn't make it through the day without panic attacks and his anxiety acting up. And he said to me one day in therapy with just a huge amount of emotion and difficulty, he said, look, I've decided if I can't be good, because his parents had told him that, his pastor had told him that and I'm not going to be good enough to get into heaven, then I'm going to at least be the best bad person in hell. And boy, that explained in a nutshell how his anxious behavior had then turned into, in his case, juvenile delinquency, a criminal record, and those sorts of things. And he was, I really, in my work in the residential treatment program, I saw that pattern repeated over and over again.
That was my next question.
Where if I can't be good, I'm at least going to be excellent at being bad.
Yeah. And now, did a lot of those programming is like, you're just an idiot, you're a worthless piece of crap kid. Does that, working with, Dr. Nongard used to work with prisoners.
Right.
And so did you have a lot of them say, well, I was brought up
absolutely
programmed that I'm just an idiot.
A lot of people never felt that they were able to reach that goal, so they had given up. They had never been able to reach the bar that was set for them.
Oh, that's such a shame.
And this is where a lack of worth comes from. And the great news is that no matter how far down the scale we've gone, we can see how our experiences can benefit other people. That's a principle from the 12-step programs that I see often in the work that I've done in psychotherapy and in counseling, where where people have taken the bad things that have happened to them and they haven't embraced them, saying, I hope this happens to others, or I'm glad this happens to me. But they see how the hard times they've experienced can help them to benefit other people. We can go to your blindness, Rob. So you lost your vision 6 years ago. I don't think you would wish that you would become blind. I don't think you wish other people would become blind. But you've found ways where your experience has benefited other people, correct?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, just doing this podcast, meeting you, that I wasn't this involved in the law of attraction or any of this until after I went through this. And I was looking at I crossed paths with you when I was learning hypnosis and I was learning that basically for myself, so I wouldn't have to take medication after my surgery and stuff like that. But at this point, I think people need to stop and, I want to take a look at how do we change that? How do we fix that? How do we turn that around? It's like, I'm up to my eyeballs. I'm tired of being unworthy. I'm tired of feeling this way. I want to change my life. That's why people are listening to our show.
And you told me in an earlier conversation today, up until you had your health problems, you were a hardworking executive who had been in a number of different industries, and you derived a sense of worth from your work and from your financial success. All of that changed, and you actually said to me, "I'm gonna break your confidentiality here of our conversation." You said,
now what about now? I started that conversation saying I'm going to be the patient, you're going to be the doctor, so we have patients.
So you said I can't be your doctor. I'm your friend. So you said, I'm not doing the same things I used to do. Sometimes I struggle with a sense of worthiness. This is really a good thing to talk about.
I'm human, just like everybody else.
Exactly. And this is where one of the things that we need to recognize is that these struggles that we face in life in accepting ourselves are really going to be struggles that we are going to come against in a variety of different situations as our lives change. You've struggled with that. I've struggled with that. I think everybody listening has. So the question, Rob, is I want you to be your own doctor. What advice would you give yourself when you wake up in the morning and say, now I'm retired? Now I'm not doing the same things that I used to do to derive worth. What is it that you can be or should be affirming to yourself to help bring about a sense of acceptance?
Well, I have my morning ritual, which we start off now since a few weeks ago. I start off with the 3-2-1 reset. Then I do my morning affirmations and a little meditation.
If you don't know what the 3-2-1 reset is, we talked about that in both podcast 1 and podcast 2, and you can find on our website at 365LOA.com a presentation on that 3-2-1 emotional reset.
So what I'm going to do now, and thank you, friend doctor, for bringing this to my attention, is that in my morning ritual now, like I said, I have the 3-2-1 reset. Then I do my morning affirmations. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm worthy, blah, blah, I have all those. But I'm going to add in there, because, okay, so when I talked to Richard this morning before we started recording the show, I was saying, I do have some struggles with worthiness. This is when we're talking about what we're going to talk about. And I says, I was the head of radiology at a big hospital. I used to be on the Thunderbirds in the Air Force. I mean, I've always had these, higher positions with a lot of responsibility, and I can handle it, and I like that. And now I don't have that anymore. I can't. I mean, you don't want somebody to walk into your room blind with a stick and a guide dog saying, I looked at your x-rays and you can go home. It just doesn't work anymore. So now I'm like, what am I doing? So I've been kind of struggling mentally. And when I talked to Richard about it earlier today, he said, dude, you're retired. You can do whatever you want. So
you can even broadcast high up top the MacGuffin Tower in Las Vegas with me to share.
And it's a choice.
Some really good news with people.
Yes. And so now I'm going to add the affirmation of I am now retired and happy. I now inspire other people by choice with writing books and doing shows with my friend.
Sure.
So that is a great way to do it. And you can do the same thing. Figure out what it is that you are worthy of. But if you want to get rid of some of those past things, there is one technique that we have found to be very, very successful, and that is to go back. If there's, it's like, oh God, I've just, you've been struggling with this. Go back to that time when you were bullied, or when you had a situation, could have been a physical or mental altercation. It could be several times, but anyway, go back to those time and think and tell yourself, although this happened to me, the belief that I made about myself is not true. It is a lie, because I am worthy. Then you say anything that conflicts with this statement is a lie. And then at that point,
give yourself that affirmation. I am worthy.
And then at that point, where is that? Now, we have a list. Yeah.
It kind of goes like this. Even though I was picked last in third grade
exactly.
PE, it is a lie that I'm not a cool person. And so I am worthy. I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I'm confident, I'm valuable, loving, I'm lovable, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm funny, I'm honest, I'm strong, I'm secure, I'm courageous, I'm successful, I'm a winner. Even though I wasn't picked first in PE in third grade, I'm the best. I am interesting, I'm respected, friendly, kind, compassionate, forgiving. Even though I wasn't picked in third grade PE, I'm a wonderful person, I'm a positive person, and I'm secure in who I am today. That affirmation, by the way, comes from Rob Banks' book, I Am and the Power of I Am and the Law of Attraction.
I'm going to start charging you $1
every time I can't remember
you
the title.
get the name of my book wrong.
Well, it's a long time. By the way, Rob and I have written a lot of books together. We've written a book on business leadership together. We wrote a book on sharing the law of attraction with other people, and a method and approach called advanced parallel programming. Rob's first book, though, The Power of I Am and the Law of Attraction, was a bestseller in this field. And together we are working actually on a new book. So we're looking forward to releasing the 8 alignments. If you want some information about our books, you can go to 365LOA.com at any time and get some free affirmations that'll truly benefit you. Rob, summing it up, our discussion today, it's been...
Before we sum it up, though, I do want to say, you're talking about the website. Today we're talking about worthiness. We have a surprise on that website. Now, I do I Am affirmation programs, and I have one program that I sell on the internet called I Am Worthy. It's about your worthiness. We have that on the website now, and we are offering that as a free download.
Sure, because we want people who are taking the time to invest in listening to this podcast to have resources that are going to be helpful to them. So we will, over the next couple of months, be adding to that website. But when I first met you, Rob, that was one of the first downloads you gave me. And I have to admit, I remember driving around at that particular time. I was driving a black Volvo XC60, so I still remember. And I was driving around listening to the CD of that, and it was truly helpful to me. And that was a time in my life when I was struggling with a sense of worthiness. And the reality is, no matter how much education we have, no matter how successful we are in business, no matter how others perceive us, that inside battle with worthiness is something that we probably all face. But the good news is there are solutions.
Let's choose to not make it a battle. Remember, we are and attract into our lives what we choose to think, say, and believe about ourselves and our perceived reality. And with that, my friend, I believe we are out of time.
Until next time, I'm Dr. Richard Nongard with Rob Banks from high atop the MacGuffin Tower in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Join us the same time, same channel, same place next week, and check out our website to get those free resources at 365LOA.com.
You've been listening to 365 LOA with Dr. Richard Nongard and RJ Banks. For additional information, including free downloads, or to send them an email, visit 365LOA.com. That's 365LOA.com. And thank you for listening.